Enumeration and brute force. Yeah, experience using verb. Linear command line. Yeah, as I'm a bit tired by now, I'm gonna TTS stuff.
Authentication enumeration is a fundamental aspect of security testing, concentrating specifically on the mechanisms that protect sensitive aspects of web applications. This process involves methodically inspecting various authentication components ranging from username validation to password policies and session management. Each of these elements is meticulously tested because they represent potential vulnerabilities that, if exploited, could lead to significant security breaches. Objectives? By the end of this room, you will understand the significance of enumeration and how it sets the stage for effective brute force attacks. Learn advanced enumeration methods, mainly focusing on extracting information from verbose error messages. Comprehend the relationship between enumeration and brute force attacks in compromising authentication mechanisms. Gain practical experience using tools and techniques for both enumeration and brute force attacks.
So we need the IP to add the hosts, and now THM. So mixing it up a bit, not just doing only one thing. Let's exit. And I didn't close it down, so it shouldn't be locked. Frozen. They did start another machine, though. I don't think that's, like, means it can't do it. So for every room, I have to click this dude and say I don't want him to be shut up. Can't I do this for everything? Yeah. Yeah, can I just down this? No, because it's not an answer. Stuff hopping up and blipping and being in the way. Why? Why? So we have an IP. Non-notation. And I'll just close other tabs. Yeah, comply. This was the one that I gave up on closing before. Let's just check up. I'm quite sure I got everything here, and it was long, so then we have the current one, which should still be on. I'm quite sure I covered this, so my hand's falling all over the keyboard. I pressed like in between too. So let's just do that. Fresh. Let's nmap the thing. You know, it's not really doing something if you're not doing it right. We need stuff. So we're just gonna go to it, to the web page. So no browser, nothing running. Yeah. Car browse. No Bloodhound. I mean. So let's close Bloodhound. Bloodhound. Pie Whisker. I kind of want to open these tabs just in. Oh, I failed to copy again of the IP. There. I usually don't search for stuff on the VM because it's just slow. I don't remember what we were looking for, but let's just scan this page before it closes. And I don't want to do that on this machine. So there. Now we have 4 new tabs. That's THM. Okay. Seriously? Yeah. Oh, did I do this already? Well, that looked very familiar. And I'm gonna TTS SSRM. And maybe not the most interesting.
Authentication enumeration. Fingerprint icon.
Or
Think of
rather, I
yourself as a
don't think
digital
it's
detective.
complicated.
It's not just about picking up clues, it's about understanding what these clues reveal about the security of a system. This is essentially what authentication enumeration involves. It's like piecing together a puzzle rather than just ticking off items on a checklist. Authentication enumeration is like peeling back the layers of an onion. You remove each layer of a system security to reveal the real operations underneath. It's not just about routine checks, it's about seeing how everything is connected. Identifying valid usernames. Knowing a valid username lets an attacker focus just on the password. You can figure out usernames in different ways, like observing how the application responds during login or password resets. For example, error messages that specify this account doesn't exist or incorrect password can hint at valid usernames, making an attacker's job easier. Password policies. The guidelines when creating passwords can provide valuable insights into the complexity of the passwords used in an application. By understanding these policies, an attacker can gauge the potential complexity of the passwords and tailor their strategy accordingly. For example, the below PHP code uses regex to require a password that includes symbols, numbers, and uppercase letters.
Yeah, regex. That's not my best strongest thing, right? So yeah, this is just something. So
In the above example, if the supplied password doesn't satisfy the policy defined in the pattern variable, the application will return an error message revealing the regex code requirement. An attacker might generate a dictionary that satisfies this policy. Common places to enumerate. Web applications are full of features that make things easier for users but can also expose them to risks. Registration pages. Web applications typically make the user registration process straightforward and informative by immediately indicating whether an email or username is available. While this feedback is designed to enhance user experience, it can inadvertently serve a dual purpose. If a registration attempt results in a message stating that a username or email is already taken, the application is unwittingly confirming its existence to anyone trying to register. Attackers exploit this feature by testing potential usernames or emails, thus compiling a list of active users without needing direct access to the underlying database. Password reset features. Password reset mechanisms are designed to help users regain access to their accounts by entering their details to receive reset instructions. However, the differences in the application's response can unintentionally reveal sensitive information. For example, variations in an application's feedback about whether a username exists can help attackers verify user identities. By analyzing these responses, attackers can refine their lists of valid usernames, substantially improving the effectiveness of subsequent attacks. Verbose errors. Verbose error messages during login attempts or other interactive processes can reveal too much. When these messages differentiate between username not found and incorrect password, they're intended to help users understand their login issues. However, they also provide attackers with definitive clues about valid usernames, which can be exploited for more targeted attacks. Data breach information. Data from previous security breaches is a goldmine for attackers as it allows them to test whether compromised usernames and passwords are reused across different platforms. If an attacker finds a match, it suggests not only that the username is reused but also potential password recycling, especially if the platform has been breached before. This technique demonstrates how the effects of a single data breach can ripple through multiple platforms, exploiting the connections between various online identities.
So it is that's not what is there really. I'm so tired. Sorry. I'm not really tired. I'm too tired to read it all.
Understanding verbose errors. Map icon. Imagine you're a detective with a knack for spotting clues that others might overlook. In the world of web development, verbose errors are like unintentional whispers of a system, revealing secrets meant to be kept hidden. These detailed error messages are invaluable during the debugging process, helping developers understand exactly what went wrong. However, just like an overheard conversation might reveal too much, these verbose errors can unintentionally expose sensitive data to those who know how to listen. Verbose errors can turn into a goldmine of information, providing insights such as internal paths, like a map leading to hidden treasure. These reveal the file paths and directory structures of the application server, which might contain configuration files or secret keys that aren't visible to a normal user. Database details, offering a sneak peek into the database. These errors might spill secrets like table names and column details. User information. Sometimes, these errors can even hint at usernames or other personal data, providing clues that are crucial for further investigation. Inducing verbose errors. Attackers induce verbose errors as a way to force the application to reveal its secrets. Below are some common techniques used to provoke these errors. Invalid login attempts. This is like knocking on every door to see which one will open. By intentionally entering incorrect usernames or passwords, attackers can trigger error messages that help distinguish between valid and invalid usernames. For example, entering a username that doesn't exist might trigger a different error message than entering one that does, revealing which usernames are active. SQL injection. This technique involves slipping malicious SQL commands into entry fields, hoping the system will stumble and reveal information about its database structure. For example, placing a single quote in a login field might cause the database to throw an error, inadvertently exposing details about its schema. File inclusion/path traversal. By manipulating file paths, attackers can attempt to access restricted files, coaxing the system into errors that reveal internal paths. For example, using directory traversal sequences like // could lead to errors that disclose restricted file paths. Form manipulation. Tweaking form fields or parameters can trick the application into displaying errors that disclose backend logic or sensitive user information. For example, altering hidden form fields to trigger validation errors might reveal insights into the expected data format or structure. Application fuzzing. Sending unexpected inputs to various parts of the application to see how it reacts can help identify weak points. For example, tools like Burp Suite Intruder are used to automate the process, bombarding the application with varied payloads to see which ones provoke informative errors. The role of enumeration and brute forcing. When it comes to breaching authentication, enumeration and brute forcing often go hand in hand. User enumeration, discovering valid username sets the stage, reducing the guesswork in subsequent brute force attacks. Exploiting verbose errors. The insights gained from these errors can illuminate aspects like password policies and account lockout mechanisms, paving the way for more effective brute force strategies. In summary, verbose errors are like breadcrumbs leading attackers deeper into the system, providing them with the insights needed to tailor their strategies and potentially compromise security in ways that could go undetected until it's too late. Enumeration in authentication forms. In this HackerOne report, the attacker was able to enumerate users using the website's forget password function. Similarly, we can also enumerate emails in login forms. For example, navigate to HTTP URL and put any email address in the email input field. When you input an invalid email, the website will respond with email does not exist, indicating that the email has not been registered yet. Email does not exist error message. However, if the email is already registered, the website will respond with an invalid password error message, indicating that the email exists in the database but the password is incorrect. Invalid password error message. Automation. Below is a Python script that will check for valid emails in the target web app. Save the code below as script.py.
So, as I'm not gonna run it with Python, it's gonna have need its own little start, and we just did these yesterday, so why not just copy? there. And I'm actually going to read it first. So we have a function taking an email called check email. We have the URL, labs verbose login functions. We have headers. Nothing special. Connection close. Um, data, email, which is a variable we are inputting, password. Yeah, we don't care about the password. Login. It would be funny if we got it right though. The response, and it returns a response. So this doesn't do any checking. In my line, to just go up. It's called check email, and it doesn't check anything. It gets the email response. Bad naming. So we have some valid emails. We know if the response contains email does not exist. So we open the file that we need to save to here also. So it was over here. So let's just copy the contents and close that and hope that the copy worked this time. And then we're going to finish reading. And we're going to save this as, oh, it's an argument. I don't like that in simple script like this. It's just making it more complicated for no reason. For emailing emails, read all the lines. I was gonna say it strips it. Yeah, there it strips it. Yeah, it gets all the read lines, and then it strips it when it's got one of the lines. It's an email address, and the check mail, which is actually just getting the response, not checking anything. There's the check. So if status is error and invalid error in JSON. So yeah. So if the message contains the text we had up here, email does not exist, then it is invalid. And otherwise it's valid, and they will print that. So we could also not print anything here. Then the input, make a variable of it and send it in. So many unnecessary steps, making this more complicated than it needs to be. Valid emails found. For valid emailing, valid emails print email. Okay, so it also saves valid emails and appends. And it always prints valid emails found, even if it didn't find any, because it knows what the results will be. Yeah, this is not really a useful script if I don't change stuff. Yeah, I want to add a check if valid emails contains something. But let's not do that. Let's run its script as it is. And we have the nano, whatever, emails, and paste. And it's not like we have a million of them, right? But it's quite a few. We might want to not output the ones that are not hits. So I'm gonna actually edit this. I'm gonna fix the script and pause, because otherwise we'll have to change it. And so good. What did I call it? Emails. So we could have output it at 1 dot or something. There. Instead of having to read through lots of invalid ones, we didn't. Copy. So this is the answer here. If you don't understand it, you can read about it, download that, run it, submit. Oh gosh, look, didn't actually copy it. My copy problems. Very nice. There. Yeah, I kind of thought this was a quick and easy one. I didn't like that you repeated stuff though. Let's go here.
Password reset flow vulnerabilities. Password reset mechanism is an important part of user convenience in modern web applications. However, their implementation requires careful security considerations because poorly secured password reset processes can be easily exploited. Email-based reset. When a user resets their password, the application sends an email containing a reset link or a token to the user's registered email address. The user then clicks on this link, which directs them to a page where they can enter a new password and confirm it, or a system will automatically generate a new password for the user. This method relies heavily on the security of the user's email account and the secrecy of the link or token sent. Security question-based reset. This involves the user answering a series of pre-configured security questions they had set up when creating their account. If the answers are correct, the system allows the user to proceed with resetting their password. While this method adds a layer of security by requiring information only the user should know, it can be compromised if an attacker gains access to personally identifiable information, PII, which can sometimes be easily found or guessed. SMS-based reset. This functions similarly to email-based reset but uses SMS to deliver a reset code or link directly to the user's mobile phone. Once the user receives the code, they can enter it on the provided web page to access the password reset functionality. This method assumes that access to the user's phone is secure, but it can be vulnerable to SIM swapping attacks or intercepts. Each of these methods has its vulnerabilities. Predictable tokens. If the reset tokens used in links or SMS messages are predictable or follow a sequential pattern, attackers might guess or brute force their way to generate valid reset URLs. Token expiration issues. Tokens that remain valid for too long or do not expire immediately after use provide a window of opportunity for attackers. It's crucial that tokens expire swiftly to limit this window. Insufficient validation. The mechanisms for verifying a user's identity, like security questions or email-based authentication, might be weak and susceptible to exploitation if the questions are too common or the email account is compromised. Information disclosure.
So
Any error message that specifies whether an email address or username is registered can inadvertently help attackers in their enumeration efforts, confirming the existence of accounts. Insecure transport. The transmission of reset links or tokens over non-HTTPS connections can expose these critical elements to interception by network eavesdroppers. Exploiting predictable tokens. Tokens that are simple, predictable, or have long expiration times can be particularly vulnerable to interception or brute force. For example, the below code is used by the vulnerable application hosted in the Predictable Tokens Lab.
Exploiting predictable tokens. Tokens that are simple, predictable, and have long expiration time can be predictable or only vulnerable to interception or brute force. For example, the below code is used by the vulnerable application hosted on predictions. predictable tokens tab. Token random. Can prepare, update, user set, reset token, where email. Blind paramessage token, email, execute. I guess I'll TTS all the text.
The code above sets a random 3-digit PIN as the reset token of the submitted email. Since this token doesn't employ mixed characters, it can be easily brute forced. To demonstrate this, go to HTTP URL.
So I guess we go there. We didn't even go to the first one. Should we log in? We don't have a login, do we? Yeah, maybe it's later. Predictable tokens. Log into your dashboard, but that's the one we got error messages from. Yeah, and then it says navigate to the application password reset. So I forgot the password. Click the input admin com and click submit. Password sent to your email. So we know from the code, but even if we were general, just try numbers from 1 to, oh, we would get three letter numbers. 3:39 a.m. Navigate to the application's password page. Input admin.com. We did. Application respond with message. The web uses a reset link 1 to 3. Okay. So we don't. The number will be wrong, but it's for us to test here. So invalid tokens. We need to test this number. And I'm assuming they'll send us another script. Nah, not even. Yeah, sure. I'll just start burp. So I would prefer a script though. I think I started burp like twice on this VM because it's new. Because we been doing 80 stuff new once. So using the attack box or your own attacking VM. Use Crunch to generate a list of numbers from 100 to 200. The list will be used as a dictionary for the brute force attack. So, and it just started. That was a long thing. Uh, 1, no, 0, 0 to 200, right? There, the file. They want us to do burp this time. Sure, let's do burp this time. I've not been running Bloodhound, so it should be happy. pretty good. This will be slow. I'm assuming this is where we're going. Yeah, back to intruder weight. Yeah, TTS stuff is that.
Notice the token is a simple numeric value. Using Burp Suite, navigate to the above URL and capture the request. Subsequently, send the request to the intruder, highlight the value of the token parameter, and click the Add Payload button, as shown below.
So let's do it one thing at a time. Highlight the value. And yeah, I'm not used to them moving the stuff yet. But I like it. I like it. It's not nice to have to hop between them. Right? I like that it's the new thing. I like it. And then it says...
Using the attack box or your own attacking VM, use crunch to generate a list of numbers from 100 to 200.
Alright.
This list will be used as the dictionary in the brute force attack.
Oh, just read the first thing first.
Go back to intruder and configure the payload to use the generated file.
Simple list load. I'm like, where's T in the alphabet? Enumeration. There. Let's save some time there.
The attack will take some time to finish if you're using Burp Suite Community Edition. However, once successful, you will get a response with a much bigger content length compared to the responses with an invalid token error message.
Log into the application, and there's a flag. Okay. There was nothing for the first one then. No. Yeah, the next one. So it's nice of it to tell us that the length is bigger, so we know which way to start. Don't have to scroll. Yeah, let's continue with the other one at the same time. So log in.
Note that most web applications use a 6-digit code instead of 3. We are using a lower value in this demo because we are using the community version of Burp Suite.
So if we had made a Python script, it would have been quicker. And we might just make one. No, I'm too tired now.
Basic authentication in 2K24. Basic authentication offers a more straightforward method when securing access to devices. It requires only a username and password, making it easy to implement and manage on devices with limited processing capabilities. Network devices such as routers typically utilize basic authentication to control access to their administrative interfaces. In this scenario, the primary goal is to prevent unauthorized access with minimal setup. While basic authentication does not offer the robust security features provided by more complex schemes like OAuth or token-based authentication, its simplicity makes it suitable for environments where session management and user tracking are not required or are managed differently. For example, in devices like routers that are primarily accessed for configuration changes rather than regular use, the overhead of maintaining session states is unnecessary and could complicate device performance. HTTP basic authentication is defined in RFC 7617, which specifies that the credentials, username and password, should be transported as a base64 encoded string within the HTTP authorization header. This method is straightforward but not secure over non-HTTPS connections, as base64 is not an encryption method and can be easily decoded. The real threat often comes from weak credentials that can be brute forced. HTTP basic authentication provides a simple challenge response mechanism for requesting user credentials.
I'm like, do I have to type the password? The admin@admin.com. Yeah, I was kind of expecting it to be the same size there, so that's why I didn't check the message. But it was nice of it not to let us wait to the end of it. It was nice. Let's look at this now. Client server, get HTTP 1.1 41 unauthorized. Do we authenticate basic role staging server? And oh, itching. And I think I scratched a mosquito bite. So yeah, before get respond. Yeah, so why are we looking at this? Authorization header looks like this. Where credentials, basics for encoded this. Exploration. Yes. Input any username and password. Capture the basic goals for burp. And I'm glad they don't go into details because I would go crazy. So let's just do name, pause, there. And let's actually close that one first. And grab the new basic code. And what they want to do. Let's just put it in Peter first. Where is it? There. So we can see what it looks like. The response originally. I have such tiny text. 13. That's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, there. But I don't like this. It's too thin. Much too thin. Why did they put this tiny thin thingy in here? Whatever, I don't care. I don't like that. That's not very easily readable. Let's try that. That's as bad as the first one. What if we do that? Ooh, it's even worse. Semi-bold. Is that what it requires? That was the ugliest font I've ever seen. Awesome. Hack. Should we hack it? No. Why is it so ugly? It looks like it's like stretched, right? What's wrong with it? Look. Let's cheat. Fira code. Fira code. So I think something is wrong with my perp. Did you ever see this ugliest thing? Font smoothing. So this should be the same font as this. Here it's mega pretty, right? Let's just make it 18 then, I guess, or 17 at least. That's not prettier. I had it 18 before. So this looks tinier than 17 did, but it's better because it's more distance between the letters. Yeah, it just looks odd. Everything looks odd. So let's do this like 15 too. And let's make it dark. My god. Maybe that's what's wrong with it for me. I always had it dark mode and it wasn't dark. Maybe. So should we try 40? No, that's tiny. 15. 15 will have to do. I don't want the GUI to take all the place. So once in a VM's life we do this. Worth it. Yeah, so the basic. Let's do all of this, and we see name pass here. I made a very short one. Right click the request and send it to intruder. Browse intruder, go to positions tab, and the code. Well, we don't need to. Authorization. Yeah, and it will encode it. 500 worst passwords. Let's actually read the text, or let's TTS all the things. So I'm gonna send it to intruder. And I think it magically will hop there, the focus. And positions tab. Yeah. Right. They have the old stuff. I'm like, positions is just the base stuff, what it used to be called. So will it use a colon? No, it will just select it. So there's no reason. We already looked what it was. I don't think it. Yeah, it was just mega slow. And then my throat is starting to feel a little bit.
Next is configuring the payloads. Go to the Payloads tab and set the payload type to simple list and choose your preferred word list. In this demo, we will use the 500 worst passwords.txt from SEC lists. If you're using the attack box, you may use the same word list located at /usr/share/wordlist/sec list/password/common credentials/500 worst passwords.txt.
Meaning we do this. It's in sec lists. Let's just load. Typing is quicker than clicking. No, I can't type more than one letter. Yeah, I don't have word lists here. If we have it, it's worth not copying, right? So we even have it twice. One is BC2. So user shares sec lists, meaning S sec lists passwords common. And then we know it should start with 500 there. So so the header is base64 encoded. We need to add two rules to the payload. First, automatically adds a username to the password. So instead of the payload will be admin. So let's do that. Different, you know. So simple list, configuration, and it must be processing, or is it the settings here? I don't think so. Oopsie. Wrap payloads, yeah, I don't think so. So I think, yeah, it's payload processing. It's actually called that there too. I'm just asleep. So let's add prefix, yeah, something. Admin column. Okay, that's like cheating. I was thinking we would do something with those too. So I'm just following along here.
The second rule will base64 encode the combined username and password from the supplied list. We should also remove the character equals, equal sign, from the encoding because base64 uses equals for padding. To do this, scroll down and remove the equal sign from the list of characters in the payload encoding section.
So this new thing means we don't have to hop back and forth. We can just be on one tab. And it's very nice when you hear, go back to the positions tab. And I'm like, ha, not anymore. Will take less than 2 minutes. Yeah, let's check what's different again. It's on 40 or 400. It says less than 2 minutes. I will try. This is better than scrolling. But if we had a script, we could check, well, status code, right? We shouldn't get a 400. It should be 200 now. But I don't know which direction. That should be 200 at the top. Come on, 2 minutes. I'll just scroll down for the next thing to do, if there's anything more. We just log in and get another flag. That's what we do when we get it. Using hide instead of verb. But I'm not going to do it because I missed it before. So. Python would be so much quicker. It would be done. So let's just check. Ah, it just appeared. Look. So let's just see that I didn't have. Yeah, I should have had it the up. I thought that would mean start sorting with the from the bottom and I'll go up. But it's opposite. Good thing I checked. So here we have it. This time we don't have a little field to just check. So merge 364 decode yellow. Okay, so admin yellow. Admin yellow. Basic of. And the one I would want to try instead of hardware would be to, but I already have scripts for that, I guess. Gosh, it's slow. So, and it doesn't have annoying sounds anymore.
Wayback URLs and Google Dorks. Digging into a web application's past can be as revealing as examining its present. Wayback URLs. Think of the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine, HTTP URL, as a time machine. It lets you travel back and explore older versions of websites, uncovering files and directories that are no longer visible but might still linger on the server. These relics can sometimes provide a backdoor right into the present system.
2018 to present. Don't.
To dump all of the links that are saved in Wayback Machine, we can use the tool called Wayback URLs. Hosted in GitHub, we can easily install this on our machine by using the below commands. Note, installing this tool is out of scope for this room. It is also recommended to install this tool using your own VM.
This is cool. Cool. We found something in this one to make notes of.
Google Dorks. This is where your savvy with search engines shines. By crafting specific search queries, known as Google Dorks, you can find information that wasn't meant to be public. These queries can pull up everything from exposed administrative directories to logs containing passwords and indices of sensitive directories. For example, to find administrative panels, cite example.com in admin. To unearth log files with passwords, file type log password cite example.com. To discover backup directories, entitle index of backup cite example.com.
Yeah, I think I will. This just one room. We won't do this one too because it's late and it's past 4 a.m. You know. And I want to have some awake time tomorrow with my family. I'm actually gonna go help my mom with the garden. And it has not been raining as much as it should, I kind of think. Well, it rained just a short bit. Just some people said it would rain much more. We'll see. If it rains tomorrow too, then I will not be working in the garden. So I stuffed up. 1, 2, oh. So as this was separate, it didn't go like next room is